Good afternoon once again. My name is Chris Iyama. The essence of, I was supposed to use slide, but there's no point. I will try as much as possible not to provoke your conscience, right? Because I'm known for provoking people's conscience. When you walk into a room like this, when you find out that more than 99.9% of the people seated here are young people, and it does not translate to our electoral justice system, there's a problem. There's a problem. Where you have over 250 million Nigerians, out of which 68 or 70% of those population are young people, and yet you have 10 to 15% of young people being appointed or being elected into political office spaces, is a problem. Where at the end of every election cycle, the best you can get is SLA, or special assistant to the special assistant to the PA of new media to the PA to the governor, is a problem. It's a problem. And so over the years, we have masterminded the act of always contributing. I just looked at the statistics of the current voters register. I found out that 39%, 39.40% of those registered figures are young people. Young people, young people. The question is, why does it not translate to election victory? Why is it that at the end of the day, our voice will still not count? It's a problem. So, but I don't want us to dwell on the problem that much today. Let us look at solutions. What can we do better? What can we do better? I have been in this space since 2013. Back then as a student, volunteered for some organization. You cannot strive without being a volunteer. You cannot go far without being a volunteer. You must just be a volunteer. I volunteered for Yiaga and some other organizations for many years until we founded CYPA Africa, that is making waves across the continent. In fact, let me shock you. We just, was it not last year? We hosted the International Conference on Africa's Democracy that brought in a lot of Africa's presidents and prime ministers and governors to Abuja. The vision started from Jos. I couldn't have known anything if I did not volunteer. So no matter who you are, volunteering is very, very important. Just hold that thought. Secondly, election is around the corner. We have APC, PDP, NDC, NTA, STV, AIT, name them, all the political parties. All the political parties. All the political parties. All the political parties. How many of those political parties that I've just mentioned have young people between the ages of 18 to 35 as their national chairman? In fact, it might interest you to note that one day I went to the Federal Ministry of Women Affairs. It was a man that was the director of women. In fact, at the moment, the national youth leaders of most political parties are between the age of 55 and 60, 65. And we think that in this part of the world, it is normal. It is not normal. If you travel to Kenya, Rwanda, Botswana, Southern Africa, or South Africa, you'll find out that most of those, you spoke about Julius Malema, my dear friend. Do we know how old Julius Malema is now? Julius Malema was the ANC youth leader at the age of what? 20-something. In fact, the reason why he left ANC was because he did not agree with, yes, and then he went to form EFF, Economic Freedom Fighter Party. So he formed EFF, and then his first election in 2014, they witnessed about 15 to 16% growth in the parliament of South Africa. Notable youth organization. So I don't understand when somebody will tell me if it is not APC, it is PDP. If it is not PDP, it is APC. I don't understand. And when I was walking in here, I was hoping not to see somebody with a Milocon cap. Would have had issues. Because you are seated here, somebody is stealing your future. And we don't seem to understand that we have a problem. There is a generational gap. What I'm saying, no slide can explain it better. So, in a situation whereby you have more than 60 to 70% of the population as young people, can't we translate that population into electoral victory in such a way that I saw somebody, in fact, was it not the so-called NAMS president? For crying out loud, I'm no longer a youth. In the next 2 years, I'll be 40. And then you expect somebody of 40 years old to be contesting for NAMS presidency. I saw the so-called NAMS president who was shouting that the reform of the current administration, I mean, is very okay and they wish to continue. A NAMS president, that guy should be in his 50s. I remember the then former minister of road transportation, Rotimi Amici, when they were, please, just one house, when they were being inaugurated during their campaign, he said something. He said, when they don't perform, anywhere we see them, we should do what? Stone them. I've been looking forward to being in that gathering where Rotimi is so that I will remove my shoe and stone him. And then remind him of those things. Because the truth of the matter is, we are not angry enough to cause a change in our country. And so if you are not VDM supporter online, you are this person supporter online, and you don't understand that there is no time. If you travel, you will find out that Nigeria is backward. And the reason why Nigeria is backward is because of its youth population. I'm tired of blaming government. I'm tired of blaming government. And that's why some years ago, we translated our organization, we started doing what is known as policy formulation process with several international organizations, where we no longer look at government or whatever. We look at how can young people translate some active policies. Listen, somebody said something. You cannot shave a man's hair in his absence. He needs to be seated down before you can shave his hair. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, your hair is being shaved in your absence, and you don't seem to understand. Somebody said the best time to have started is 10 or 20 years ago. Another best time is now. But guess what? We have lost that opportunity because why? INEC has closed the electoral register yes, they have closed it till 2031. So if you have not registered to be a member of a political party now, you cannot enter anymore than to be shouting Emiloko. So some of the things we do currently in our country, we found out that are we where we are supposed to be? If you want to, it's not just enough to do certain things. When you travel, even if you can't travel, at least study history. How did Botswana, is it Botswana or Rwanda, the country with the highest female participation in governance, is it Botswana or Botswana, yeah? Find out, is it Rwanda? Is Rwanda? Yes, it's Rwanda. Find out how they achieved that population. A country that was coming out of genocide. I've interacted with most South African youths. Forget of their lack of understanding of history, how that Nigeria supported them during the apartheid. Just forget about that. We are coming to that shortly. But you see, at the end of the day, it is only Nigerian youths that when you hear that there is a bomb blast, or you hear that we have killings in Rampam or Mangu, or something just happened, the next response of the Nigerian government will be how to distribute rice. I remember during the COVID of 2021, I saw somebody who is working actively in a bank close to my office. He was one of the ones that looted the warehouses in Jos. And then I asked him a question one day when I saw him. I said, so the things that you looted that day, are you still enjoying it? How did this solve our governance problem? We have to come to that stage in our national life and national consciousness where enough is still not enough. If we have to change our country, we have a role to play. We have a responsibility to nation building. And the only responsibility is to participate in decisions and policy making that directly concerns you. When you were speaking earlier, you said our kind of participation in governance for African leaders is where, when they are making policies, their heads are down. And we have this responsibility. We need to do justice. We need to take action. We need to participate. We need to change the status quo. After the 2027 election, I know that they are going to now be canvassing. You see, sometimes nobody will give you that opportunity to participate. You have to break in that cycle. I'm a policy development expert. I know what I did to be part of the cycle. Because a lot of times, the complaints that we complain are not just genuine enough until you get involved. How many of you young people at 10 a.m., at 12 midnight, you're already sleeping. But between 12 and 1 and 2 a.m. to 3, that is where the decisions that have been taken about your future in this country. So most of the populations that we have now, they are known as sleeping population or sleeping generation. At the end of the day, they come out from that. Do you know that there's a closed door behind the closed door behind the closed door? So you see them in the afternoon, they are sleeping. But at night, there was one day we were called for one meeting, just before the Not Too Young to Run was signed into law, where we were having a meeting with and one or two persons in the villa and all that. That meeting happened around 1:30 a.m. because the Buhari administration never wanted to sign that particular law. In fact, they thought that it was a confrontation. Until when we began to lobby. You know, you can't just have your way, you have to lobby. We told them that it is about intergenerational democracy, where the old needs the digital idea of the young people, and the young people need the wisdom of the old people. So tell us, how do we want to chase you out of power? You are still relevant today. Lawan, the former Senate president, he is 27 years in the National Assembly as of today. 27 years in the parliament, meaning that in 27 years, he has not successfully mentored anybody to replace him. In 27 years, nobody in the senatorial district can take over from him in 27 years. And we think that is a success. That's a abysmal failure. We need to change our mindset. We need to hold some people accountable. We need to hold these guys accountable for their actions. That today, the total debts of our country, I'm talking of debts to owe, total debts in our country today is running into billions of dollars. Was it not there for yesterday? Nigerian government applied for another $1.5 billion loans, and then Nigerians went to the comment section of World Bank on Instagram. More than 1 million comments telling them, don't give our president loan. And what did World Bank do? They locked their comment section. Onus lies on us to begin to change the narratives. We must stand up and defend what is just and what is fair and what is right in our country. We must be active citizens. There is no office that is greater in this country than the office of the citizens of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. I'm a proud citizen. I leave you with these thoughts. I heard it from Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala. She said something. When you want to have a value, number one, have a value for your country. She said, have a value for your country. You are not greater than the country that you come from. And until you realize that your country is greater than you will put Nigeria first. So I tell us today, let us have value for our country. If we have value for our country, there are certain things we will not do. We will take the bull by the horn and participate in governance and policy formulation. Thank you so much.